Outside of your own bubble, the shift is happening on a global scale. This is Skull Babylon, and you're listening to another consciousness shifting community episode of Paradigm Shift Radio, a global collective project to literally change the world we are living in, one inspirational show at a time. On this episode, we had Sher of Israel on the show to talk about the success him and a few friends had when they went out into public with some free hug signs to help spread good vibes and connect with their community. He shared more about his perspective on the fact that people everywhere are naturally beginning to open up and take part in these kinds of conversations, adding strength to the grid. From there, we got into discussion about the bigger picture and hypothetical ideas and theories relating around the December 21st date and beyond. We talked about UFOs, we talked about moving through cosmic clouds, and we talked about hyperdimensional experiences. Why? Because nothing is off the table in this realm of infinite possibilities, and having conversation is just one way to mentally prepare our minds for what may or may not happen. Later in the show, we welcomed Chris from thehearttribe.com onto the show, who shared some practical tips on how to get in touch with your heart space. After that, he led us through our meditation, and then we wrapped up the show but continued the conversation on Google Plus Hangout, which you can watch as a link in this video. So let's keep the conversation going. Join us on a future episode of PSR, and be sure to keep connecting and reaching out to the people in your immediate community. Join us on Facebook, tell more friends, and keep spiraling outwards.
The way of the wolf knows no bounds. Deep within these eyes lies a truth so profound, it will shake the system with the sound of my howl as I wander and seek, as I trek, as I prowl. Yet this truth is not mine, it's just something I hold, because it's equally ours, because it's infinitely old. So wander alongside me, take example from my lead, yet be your own essence, and do not cry when I bleed, because I am here out of service, to share strength among the crowd. I am here to find your own freedom, to be benevolent and proud. I am your friends, I am your fathers, I am your brothers, I am your daughters. What I stand for is much bigger than what will happen here today, because I fight for a future to which we will all find our way. Though alone at times, we are always connected by our mission and our passion. Our love is always reflected. So if you hear the call, then let your courage shine bright, like the way of the wolf. Keep carrying the light. This is Skull Babylon, and that was a little bit of poetry just to start off the show, and you are listening to Paradigm Shift Radio. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Once again, it is December 8th, and we're getting closer to that so-called date that's just around the corner, so thank you, everyone who's tuned in with us, and obviously within the first couple minutes of the show, once again, if you have not already, just get the word out there. Post it on your Facebooks, tweet it. There's the little buttons within the Blog Talk chat to actually go through and tweet it quite easily. And if you're listening to this show on Blog Talk from the future, feel free to check out the YouTube version of this once it goes up, because that will actually be a little bit more convenient when you're sharing it, because YouTube is its own medium and it will have all the embedded links after the show included into that. So there you go, guys. So thank you once again, obviously, for tuning in with us here today as we shift paradigms, so to speak. And for those of you who may be new, what we're doing here with Paradigm Shift Radio is a media branch of Paradigm Shift Central, and Paradigm Shift Central is a global collective of Paradigm Shift communities all across the world. So really, this whole thing, the way I see it, it's about strengthening the grid. It's about creating those connections, and it's about really keeping in touch with one another in terms of a global community, to be able to let each other know how things are unfolding on the other side of the world, so to speak, because it's a collective progress. As we all move forward, as one of us moves forward, we all move forward. And I think it's really empowering for us to be able to share those stories about how things are sort of unfolding on our end, so that we can get a better idea of where we're sort of at as a bigger collective, so to speak. So if you have not already, check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and just let me know, guys, in the chat, obviously, if my microphone is okay. I'm pretty confident with the fact that it should be just fine and everything. And obviously, a huge shout-out to everybody who's joining us, and I hope we have a few new listeners, and a few of those new listeners, no doubt, would be a result of the fact that you guys have been sharing this show. So please continue to do that. Please continue to share the show, because the more people involved, the more we all learn, and it's a really exciting process. So what we're going to be doing here on the show tonight, we're going to be going over just a couple things right off the bat that I do got planned, but then from there we're going to pretty much open it up so that anybody can get involved. as per usual, Paradigm Shift is meant to be a platform for you guys, you, the community, to be able to use it to practice sharing your voice, to practice sharing your message, your experience, your thoughts and ideas. And basically, we want to hear from you. So we're going to be talking about a few things. And obviously, we're going to be talking about 2012. I'd like to sort of go over some hypothetical ideas as to what may happen, so to speak, and not even to say happen specifically on that date, but more so what may happen within the future, within terms of multidimensional reality, within terms of our paradigm shifting, so to speak, the way we perceive things, like maybe our DNA is going to activate in different ways. And like, obviously this is a lot of hypothetical ideas, but I think if we can sort of brainstorm them, then it will give us a better idea of what may be on the table. And that way, when something crazy might happen, we'll be able to say, oh, okay, like this is actually not something that's totally out of left field, because I had already gone through the process of thinking about some of the theoretical possibilities that may occur. So we'll get into that. So if you guys have some of your own ideas as to what either may happen specifically on this so-called date, on the 21st, December 21st, or just in general in terms of where we're moving into the future that you feel that you would like to share, please feel free to do that, to join us on the show here tonight. And even if you have other stories, such as any recent UFO sightings, that's always something that we're interested in hearing, because part of this story is the fact that things like UFOs, this is just sort of my opinion, based on observing patterns, things like UFOs are becoming more and more common every single day, so to speak. More people are beginning to see them a little bit more every day, so that's part of the story, no doubt. So just a few little things in terms of news. So obviously, if you would like and another thing in relation to the poetry that I shared at the beginning of the show, if you have your own poetry, feel free to share it on the show as well. That's something that we always encourage. So like I said, that was a little poetry from my end in terms of like the perspective of the spirit animal of the wolf, which is something that I associate myself with, that I feel I embody, and that I try to learn from. So I've sort of talked about this before. As much as I can say like I am a wolf, so to speak, in terms of like spirit, like I also say that the wolf is my teacher. So how do I learn from the wolf? How do I look towards the lessons of the wolf and try to apply that to my life? So obviously, if you've been following what I've been doing for a while, which you can check out at my YouTube channel at youtube.com/skullbabylon, there's a lot of stuff up there, you'll sort of see that this whole stuff that I'm doing, all this energy I'm putting into this whole paradigm shift thing, it is not a popularity contest. It is not about me trying to gain fans or try to, get the most hits on YouTube. This is really about me doing the work because I know that there's people out there who are resonating with it, and that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to connect with the community and to be able to empower and inspire people. So even though our community might not be huge at this point, in retrospect, actually it is quite huge compared to what it started off as, which was just like me and a few friends in a college. It's grown quite awesomely within the last couple of years. But regardless, I feel that those people who have been listening to the show and those who will continue to tune into the show, you're listening to it for a reason, I guess you would say. There's a reason why you're here, and I think that's important for you to think about. Why are you here? What is it about this community that you resonate with? Because there's so many spiritual communities across the internet right now, and I think that's a big part of the story, is that people are sort of picking and choosing their communities and their mediums, and obviously Paradigm Shift is not something that you have to commit to. It's not something you're tied down to. It's just it's a hub, it's a forum, so to speak. So again, thank you guys for being a part of that. And like I said, check out my YouTube, youtube.com/skullbabylon. And I do have the Journey to Rockmont 3 Days of Light documentary, which will be coming out very soon. You've heard about me talking about this in the past. The planned release date for that is going to be on 12/12/12. So that is going to be this Wednesday. And that's something that I've been putting a lot of work into. Like, I spent all day working on it, and I'm probably going to be working on it a little bit more after the show. And it's pretty much done. Like, it is done. I'm just sort of polishing it up so that it's going to be the most enjoyable experience. It's going to be a really visceral experience for you guys watching that. The 3 Days of Light was the festival that happened in Asheville, North Carolina, back in the beginning of November. And it's going to be a real visceral experience for you guys to watch that, whether you were there or whether you weren't there. Like I guarantee you that it's gonna make some people teary-eyed. So that's the power of like video editing and art, so to speak. So again, look forward to sharing that with you, and you can go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/JTR to check that out. So again, going back a couple steps, if you have any poetry that you would like to share on the show, feel free to do that. If you have any UFO stories or any crazy premonitions within dreams that you feel that you would like to share, please feel free to do that as well. And join us on Facebook if you have not already at facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio and facebook.com/paradigmshiftcentral, and that will link you into all of the other Paradigm Shift communities. So 1 second. So I do got a couple people lined up before we get into the random callers after that, and just a quick couple things in terms of recent Paradigm Shift news. And I'm not going to spend much time on this because what I would like to do is to keep things moving along fast as possible. I know last episode it was a good 30 minutes just going over news pieces. So just a quick couple pieces of news in terms of the most recent Paradigm Shift communities to pop up. A big shout out to Paradigm Shift Punta Gorda in Florida. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't live there. So shout out to them. And they've actually, the people who have done that, they've sort of branched that off of something that they already had going on, which was CCMC, which stands for Conscious Community Media Center. So that was pretty cool to see that they took the concept of Paradigm Shift and sort of applied it onto something that they already had. So if that's something where if you're a listener and you're thinking about creating a Paradigm Shift community, either starting from scratch or just building on top of what you already have, by all means do that. Because a big part of this radio show, especially for those of you who may be new to this, is to simply bring to the surface the fact that these Paradigm Shift communities do exist across the world, and you can get one started in your area. And if that's something that you feel drawn to, then by all means, we are here to support you in doing so. And this is actually just something that, I've had a couple conversations with people, and they're like, oh, well, there's no one in my community who's into this stuff. There's just no one there. And then my response to that is like, okay, well, the fact that you're there means that your role is more important than ever, because you may be that first person who really, really starts to help other people come out and start waking up and get that forum started. So again, Paradigm Shift communities are just, along with being a Facebook page, they are about physical meetings, and they are about practice, and they are about creating some sort of consistent forum where people are going to be able to attend, and there's going to be no expectations, and it's just going to be that whole idea of if you build it, they will come. So keep that open door, create a place where people will be able to openly express their thoughts and ideas, and in the process of doing that, that's where you start bringing up discussion and practice about things such as multidimensional reality and meditation and lucid dreaming and astral projection and all those popular topics that we just love to get into. I know are some of the, a lot of the people listening to the show, they like talking about that thing, and the topics can go as far and wide as you would like to take them. So again, big shout out to the most recent Paradigm Shift community. And also another thing which was really cool, shout out to Paradigm Shift Jacksonville. Paradigm Shift Jacksonville recently put up a video of one of their meetings that they had on YouTube, and I just posted the link for that in the live chat. So Paradigm Shift Jacksonville is they have Von Halford and Jericho are associated with that. You've heard them on the show in the past, so that was very cool to see. So again, that's something that we would like to encourage within these Paradigm Shift communities, is to encourage Paradigm Shift communities to have their own media team, I guess you could call it. So if you get to the point where you're comfortable bringing a camera into your meetings and you want to be able to share that with the other communities, please feel free to do that. So very cool stuff there. And just another thing in terms of other videos and everything, there was another video that I shared on my Facebook page not too long ago, and it was by the name of a friend of mine called Cons Z Child, and he posted up a video, and the reason why I'm sharing this video is because it's just a video he recorded in his room, and it's him talking about the Dalai Lama and the teachings of the Dalai Lama, and he just sort of edited it together, and he had images and stuff spliced into it, but I think it's just something really cool, and I'll link this into the show notes as well so you can check it out afterwards. It's something to show that you don't have to be a super professional video editor to be able to start sharing your message, because if you heard on the past week, we have a little thing called Paradigm Shift Metavision, and you can go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/metavision. It's basically just a separate YouTube channel where we want to be able to host and feature different videos by people within the community. So again, this is about empowerment, this is about collective inspiration. So by me sharing his video, I want you guys to be inspired to start making your own videos, to start practice expressing yourself. That's really what this is all about. I mean, a lot of us have a tendency to hold back as if we're afraid of being judged, but just start opening yourself up, and you're really just going to start learning more about yourself, and you're going to start becoming more confident. So there you go. So hold on, guys. Okay, and also other news. No, I think that's really about it. So what I would like to do, I would like to bring another fellow on the air. Yeah, okay, he is in the Skype right now, so I'm going to actually bring him on, and we're going to move forward with that. And let me just introduce this to you. So who I'm about to bring onto the air is a fellow, he's a friend of mine, and obviously through Facebook. I haven't met him in person yet, but his name is Alon Solkat Sharir, and he's in Israel. And he posted a video just the other day, and it was him giving free hugs out in his community with some of his friends. So I'm going to post a link for that into the live chat as well. And that's something that we're going to bring him onto the air and we're going to talk about, because this whole idea of going out there and taking action in our community is really what Paradigm Shift is about. I mean, there's so much knowledge out there, but we also need to take action. One of the things that came up in a past episode was this idea that spiritual people need to be more active and activist people need to be more spiritual. So it's about finding that middle ground. So we're going to bring him on the air, and he's going to talk a little bit about that experience. And then from there, again, the Skype lines and the actual phone lines are going to be open up. So if anybody would like to come onto the air, feel free to do so. Simply dial in through Skype listening. If you're listening through Blog Talk, there's a link next to the call-in number at the top with a little Skype icon. Click that. That's going to launch your Skype if it's not already launched, and it's going to ask you to place a call, and just do that and then press 1 and I'll know that you're in the queue. So again, it's pretty straightforward, and if you have any questions, just ask people in the chat if you're having trouble figuring it out. So all right, so I'm going to bring on Alon right now, and we're going to go from there. So Alon, if you're ready, here we go. Hello. Hey, you there? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. How are you?
Awesome, man. Good to hear you. So let's just sort of get the ball rolling on this, man. Like, what inspired you to go out there and do this whole free hugs thing within your community?
All right. Well, it started off with my sister. She actually thought it would be a good idea. She did a course of sacred sexuality, which was here in Israel. It was with a special guide from I can't remember what country, and she did that, and she was very happy, and she wanted to share love. So she opened up the event, and she told me "Hey, we're doing this. Let's go." And I was like, "All right, this is the good vibration, let's spread love in the streets." And we did that, and we we took a couple of friends, we filmed it. And I thought, well, I could spread this through the internet, go viral with this, and show people love is great, and it was very, very good,
Yeah, how long were you guys out there for?
We were just 4 guys, that's it, 5 guys, that's it. And we went to a shopping center, and we just had a couple of signs saying free hugs in Hebrew and English, and it was great. The important thing to know about this, that we were very, very patient about it. We just stood there, and anyone who wanted to come had the opportunity, and we didn't shout it or jumped at people. We just stood there and smiled. And some people, just went through and smiled as well. Some people said, "Oh, good for you." Some people, didn't get the idea, thought we were someone from a government or from a cell phone company or something like that doing a commercial, And people ask like, why are you doing this? It's just spread love. That's it. That's why we're doing it. And some people were very, very happy and came to give a hug, but it doesn't matter. Even if someone smiled, that's it. That's the whole point, And he went on through, and his day was better, and some other people saw him smile, and it was great.
Yeah, exactly. That's the free hugs thing that like sort of goes in line with what we were talking about before. This idea of like even doing flash mob meditations, just that idea of bringing something. So I mean, to a lot of people, they consider it unusual in terms of like social behavior. I mean, like who goes out there and gives free hugs to people? Like that just, according to our society, that's just an unusual thing to do. But at the same time, that unusualness about it brings attention to the fact that it's different. So that's what we need. We need that sort of contrast within society. So I mean, I think that's incredibly awesome that you guys were doing that, and I'm so glad that you're able to get that video out there. And I hope that like what you did, especially like in Israel, because I mean, like a lot of us obviously listening to the show are probably like not necessarily in Israel in terms of like the majority of the people listening were probably like in North America and Europe and stuff. So I mean, we don't really understand exactly like what is going on over there, but I mean, based on the small conversations that we've had, there is quite a paradigm shift happening in Israel, is there not?
Yeah, there is. People are awakening from the whole world, and Israel as well. People are making spiritual courses on many types of things, everywhere. They're just not putting a name through it. People are talking about stuff they haven't talked for their whole lives. People are doing things and being more spontaneous and opening up to new options. It's part of the big shift that's happening. Only people didn't point it out as give it a name, And I'm surprised to meet each day. I'm meeting new people or people I've known for a lot of time that suddenly they are interested in stuff that I put up in Facebook, and I talk about 2012, and people are like, whoa, wait, to tell me more. And I send them like Zeitgeist or Spirit Science movie, and it's like, okay, I want more, I want to know more, tell me. And it's happening all over. And like, where are you guys from? Why are you doing this? And like, just spread love. And he said, this is amazing, I love this, I'm getting into this vibe, and I want to know more. And it goes like this. And I have many friends. We're starting to come together in terms of what's happening in 2012 and meditations and, parties with good vibe, and meetings like, let's meet up, let's talk about interesting stuff. And it's happening like naturally, I don't need to call it up. It's just people like, I'm getting people together. It's like light workers beam their light, and people just see it and attract to it. And then you say, hey, you see, I'm the light, and you all got together, and let's do something together. And you shine the light now, And it's just working that way. It's great.
It's awesome. And yeah, like exactly, right? Like we in a very literal sense, we are reflections. So I mean, as one person standing there holding light, it has the potential to bounce off another person, which bounces off another person and another person. And like you said, like even if those people who saw you out there, they might not have, maybe they weren't comfortable enough to come up and hug you, but the thought still was with them, and they probably took that home, and they were just like, maybe it gave them a chance to question why they were holding back, like what was preventing them from going out there and hugging.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, it's totally like this. It's just I love it, man. Like I'm so happy to see it, and I just gotta ask, like from here, what do you see the next step as being? Like, is there anything in particular that you would like to see happen within your community, or do you think it's just sort of gonna just sort of happen naturally? I guess as part of it. So.
Yeah. Well, first of all, specifically about the free hugs sessions or campaign, we want to bring it higher. We want to take it up a notch. We want to bring more people, especially my friends, and everyone will bring their friends and like spread out really big in the street and maybe film it in a better way, more professionally, not with iPhones, but real cameras, and really bring it to awareness, at least in Haifa, which is the city I live, and in the area, and about, I'm as the time comes and we're getting to more into the 2012, at the end of 2012, I feel this vibration of not being afraid of talking about spirituality and what I want. And this is you making the radio, and this is people talking about it in the internet, and this is people talking about it everywhere. And I see as more as I'm not afraid and I share more love about the subject, people are more attracted to it. So people are making events about ceremonies that are going to happen in Israel in 2012. Many, many ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies and gatherings in 2012. The 21st of December, And I just spoke to a couple of people which I didn't know very good, and just talked about the subject, and they say, "Whoa, I want to meditate with you on the 12-12-12." It's just like a strong wave getting stronger and stronger. So yeah, we're getting there and building a youth community which seeing stuff he doesn't like saying, well, the government is boring, the situation is boring. We want to make something new. We want to make something interesting. I got something in my heart I want to go out with. Please, show me where. And this is exactly your job, you doing the job, and I see your job and I say, I'm inspired by you, Skull Babylon, and it's like, we can do this. We can make a community over here. And as I was saying this to myself, I saw a poster in the street saying there is a group meeting up in my city, which is a particularly small city in the area of Haifa. And, they say, let's talk about spirituality, young people until the age of 30, and, let's make music and stuff like that. And it's just happening. And, yeah, definitely go take this stuff, just connect the dots and start building the real deal.
Absolutely.
And that's about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I think that's like, seriously, that's super exciting, man. And I think that's something that we don't get enough of, like, being, at least myself being here in Canada, like, we sort of have our own little bubble in terms of North America, and we forget that, like, this shift is happening on so many other places within the world.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading a book, a Pleiadian book, a while ago, like 3 years back. And one of the things they wrote there, like, everyone can be enlightened, everyone can go through the process, which I didn't understand back then. The rapper, the singer, the artist, everyone, any age, it can happen to them as well. It happens to all of us, and it happens all over the world, even the everywhere, even in places you didn't know there are enlightenment. Today I walked in the shopping mall, the big noisy shopping mall with everyone distracted from the logos and the commercial and stuff, and I just felt enlightened. I felt like even there, it's everywhere, and I felt like present in the moment. And I meet people, like, I'm very surprised from people, they don't seem like they're interested in any type, or they don't show it, but when you spark the light, you say a word that resonates with them. So like, whoa, me too. Let's talk more about it, and it's quite amazing, the synchronicities which happen in this level. And really everyone can share and love and create. You gotta give them the chance. To do it. But as I talk about it more, I found out that there are limits as well. There are people who doesn't want, their process, and then the spiritual world doesn't interest them, and they don't believe in it. But that's okay, That's okay.
Yeah,
the people that don't want to go hug, it's okay, let them not go give a hug. It's okay, and people that want to hug will get it. That's it.
Like, I think a big part of what we do as light workers, if that's the term that you want to call it, I think human being is a more appropriate title, so to speak. It just seems like it's part of our nature. But I think a big part of it, and this is something that this whole paradigm shifting is coming, this is what this is bringing to the surface, is this idea that regardless of the layers that we might have on top of us that we recognize as our personalities and our ego, like underneath all that, it is this knowing that there is that spark, there is that like divine light within us, if you want to even refer to it that way. So I mean, in that sense, like it's never hopeless. Like I mean, it's never, you know, you never want to just like say, oh, that person's not worth my time or anything like that, because if you sit down with them in some way or another, there is a way for them to be able to like open up to that knowing within, you know, within their own perception, so to speak. So I think that's like what keeps us going. You know, it's not like we're going to get to a point where we're just going to be like, oh, I've done enough. You know, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And as long as there are like new children being born into this world, like there is work for us to do, and so much of it is just bringing us into that awareness. And you know, I've said this before, like so much of what we're doing, we're remembering, and I think as we get closer to you know, December 21st, like even like I don't know exactly. I mean, that's something that I'm fine to, you know, we can get into that topic because I mean, that's what the show is about. But I mean, you know, like how many people on this exponential curve are starting to quote unquote get it within this next couple weeks? I mean, we are literally like 2 weeks, like 13 days, like away from December 21st. Like, are there people out there who are suddenly just starting to get it? And then I think that's just like a really exciting thing, because then that means that there's going to be. Oh, is my mic no?
Just a little bit disturbances.
A little bit, okay. Is it? Check. Okay. So, yeah,
I feel really disturbance. I can't hear you very well.
Well, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on the 21st?
Okay, I heard. I'll just say what I heard. What I'm gonna do on December 21st.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we have a ceremony up in Mount Tavo. It's a very old and known mountain, Mount Tavo, and sure, my sister is really into more of shamanism, and a lot of people are, and they're doing a really big fire ceremony, which apparently happens on over 100 mountains in the world. At the same time, they're gonna synchronize with it, and I don't know really the nature of the fire, but it's gonna be about, you know, accepting the new spirit coming up, accepting the new paradigm that's coming up, accepting us true change to humanity, and being together about it, and set our intentions straight together. You know, when we are as a group and we are intending together, it's much more stronger, and we're doing it all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
together.
Absolutely, man. This is happening all over the place, and so my mic is better now, I'm hoping. Yes. Check.
Oh, I can't really hear you.
Oh, really?
It's like going on and off.
Okay.
All right, now it's good.
How is it right now?
It's better.
Is it better? Is it good enough?
Still like cut up, but it's better.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. Tell me if that gets any better.
Okay.
Is that any better?
Still disturbances.
Okay, that's weird. Yeah, no,
maybe it's my internet. You know, maybe it's slow up in here.
Guys in the chat, how bad is my mic? But anyways, I was just gonna tell you, man. Like, or I was gonna ask you. I mean, what are your thoughts on like anything that might happen in terms of like December 21st and beyond? Like, any feelings that you have?
All right, I heard the question, so it's good. Guys, can you hear me? Guys in the chat, can you hear me good?
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So I'll go on. December 21st, 2012, I've talked a lot about it, and you know, all the time videos in YouTube and stuff going on. And if we take December 21st and simplify it to a ground level, you know, for everyone to understand, we could just say, okay, this is a special day which relates to ending a lot of cycles.
Mm-hmm.
This is it, you know. ground level, the most basic. We have cycles regarding the solar system inside the galaxy. We got the galaxy cycles. We got the Earth cycles. We got Earth around the sun cycles, and going on and on. And this is what the Mayans, which were a very very advanced civilization, knew how to calculate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you take it up a notch and you say to people, okay, in the cycles with the end, a new energy comes into Earth from the center of the galaxy, and we are changing the location of our solar system inside the galaxy, which brings a new kind of electromagnetic or cosmic energy inside the Earth, which will cause changes in the core and in the magnetic level which we live in. I've learned about frequencies, and frequencies, in order to communicate between, let's say, radio and another radio, you have the speaking, which I'm talking to you now, and the frequency which takes my talking very, very far. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There are two frequencies, and the frequencies which my speaking of, like taking my talk up in the air, is the higher frequency, and this is the frequency that we are living on Earth. The Earth has a background frequency, and once the background frequency changes, everything changes, because we speak differently, we hear differently. Everything will be different. So I always say to my friend when I'm talking about it, we're gonna see things different. We're gonna experience everything differently. We can't even imagine how things will be, because it will be on another level, which will be awesome. And I think it's a positive change happening. I'm hearing a lot of, especially here in the Middle East, we're hearing a lot of rumors about, okay, what's going to happen? Is there going to be a big war, or is there going to be a big positive change? Because this area is flammable, easily flammable. People can get in stress and fear easily, and we saw it. We had a operation lately in Gaza, and the little spark of hate that was in the war, people was terrified. Like, people just heard the term, Gaza Strip, or bombs for Gaza Strip, and people went crazy about it. All Facebook was hatred. All the newspapers was hatred. So people was getting terrified really easily, and I was like standing there and like saying, "Don't get crazy, guys. Don't let the media get you crazy. Keep to yourself." People was like writing in Facebook horrible stuff just because of nothing happened. And so what I'm saying is that, like, people are getting very aware, and government don't want people being aware. So people are talking maybe there's going to be a war in here when the time comes, because this will get people into fear and low vibration. And I hope that's not going to happen. But all I'm seeing is positive change. Nonetheless, the frequencies are very strong. There are spiritual guides everywhere, and anyone who just says the word "I want to know more," they will. I'm saying to people, I'm saying to people all the time, which they with a spiritual background or no spiritual background, I say to them, "What do you want in life? What do you want? Just say it. Express yourself. Say out loud what you want, and you will have it. It's that simple." And this is part of the dimensions getting together. The third, the fourth, the fifth dimension getting together is a form of stronger synchronicity in nature and in our life. I mean, it's practically in the atoms. In our thoughts, they become more real. And I tell people, just ask yourself, what do you want in this moment? Express it. Once you express it, it will happen. It's that simple. And people find that notion, they resonate with that notion. And All I'm saying is about 21st of December is going to be great. It's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning of the shift, the 21st. The beginning of the big shift. And, people are talking there are more important dates in the future, which will happen, and more big waves of energy is coming. And the 21st will be an amazing day, which will be the start of the change. And I believe we're all going to get superpowers and be super cool.
Superpowers for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Just before I even say anything more, how bad is my mic right now? So I want to be able to fix that. Okay, it's probably not good since you probably didn't answer that question. Hello, check. So choppy. Okay, hold on. Okay. Hey, Vaughn. Can you hear me? Hey,
yeah,
Vaughn.
Kinda. It's choppy. You should close down some windows.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but you're going to kind of maybe let me co-host this morning if my mic's not working properly.
Gotcha.
Okay, so how bad is it right now?
To what?
Okay, let me try whittling it here. Okay, tell me if it's any better, because I just want to see if I can fix this before we go any further. Check. Hello. Test. No, yes?
It's still going like that. That's how you sound.
Oh, weird.
I mean, like, when you kind of... Wait, what'd you say there? Say something again. No, I'm so choppy.
No.
Did you try unplugging it? Did you try, like...
Yeah, no, I did just unplug it.
It's probably a solar flare, yeah. It's probably a solar flare.
Oh, God, it's beginning. Okay, is it any different?
Beginning.
Any different now?
It's really bad, man. Do you have, like, another microphone or something? Or
for it. Any different now?
How about you tap the mic, see what happens?
Oh, that's probably loud for people.
No, it's fine.
Any different?
No, well, kinda. I don't know.
Kinda?
Wiggle the cord. Maybe it's your USB port.
I'm wiggling it. Okay, anything different? Okay, hold on. Okay, I got an idea. Give me 2 seconds, guys.
All right. Can I use the time to say something to the world?
Yeah, you can say so much to the world right now.
All right.
Right now, like, this is my backup mic. You can hear that, yes?
Even your backup mic's being choppy, so it must be your internet connection.
My internet. All right. You guys go ahead.
Wait, question. Do you have your Facebook up? Because the Facebook chat will run up your...
I don't actually. I'm just going to go make sure that, like, my other computers are off. My bandwidth. So you guys can see the conversation.
Okay, yeah, because someone's probably downloading porn, because I can't even hear you at all now.
Gosh, darn it. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. Share what we're going to share. I'll be back. So.
Share what you're going to share. He's going to be right back.
Yeah.
All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. So I'm just going to say, people listening to this show, like Brendan said, probably from North America, Canada area. So I just want to say shalom from Israel, and want to say that people are waking up, even in Israel, and even if there's going to be a war, shit going to get bad, or maybe, I don't know, I just want to talk about bad stuff. People are still waking up, want peace. People are understanding that all this war with Iran and Syria and Gaza is just, there are people who want peace everywhere, it can't be that our leaders, hate our leaders just because nothing, and, Iran is a giant country. It can't be all the people just love Ahmadinejad over there. People want peace. I've heard about Iranians meet Israelis abroad, like in Thailand or something, and just loving each other and sharing peace in there, and sharing the pictures in Facebook and internet saying they want peace, they don't want war. And there are guys who call the Master Shift, which are organizing the big meditation on the 12/12, and they posted up a video which shows children from all around the world, like, carrying a message of love, and there were children from Syria, which Syria has lots of bad shit right now. People are getting killed every day there, and really bad. But still someone found the time to film their children saying a message of love to the world. This is amazing, and it's happening here in Israel too. And even when there is a wartime, there are people who are still awake and sane. Sane and want peace even in times of war. And so all I'm saying, when there was there was a big operation. I know you heard about it in Gaza last month, and when it happened, all I said to people, it's not like, okay, love your enemy or stuff, like just be sane, keep yourself sane, and ask questions. Don't get insane. Don't get all out with the hatred. Keep sane.
I get this impression that like the media and both sides kind of like turns our countries against each other, when in reality, just like most Americans really don't really follow what's going on as much as they should. But we have things like the internet now where we can connect with people overseas, and it's funny that we don't use it as much as we could. And that I noticed that other countries' websites, like they have like their own websites, their own social networks, and even though Facebook is worldwide, you'll find that there's actually in other countries people are using like separate isolated networks to communicate, and so we don't get the full story, and we don't communicate with each other. And then the media is all that people get, and a lot of people over here get brainwashed into thinking that everyone over there is like just really angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
exactly.
I'm like, it's not like that. I have grandparents that I live with, and trying to explain things to them because they watch like Fox News and stuff, and it's awful because I'm just like, that's not the way the world is, right? Like that's not. They're people. We're all people, and it's 2012. It's not like we're living in the dark ages and people elsewhere aren't living just like we are. It's the same thing. It's just a different location. And I really get tired of all that hate, and to see someone, like you sent me the video on Facebook, and I was like, wow, I love this. And I'm just like, that's what we need to see more of. And keep putting out videos and keep sending your message out there and get more people involved, because once people start seeing that, they're going to get an entire different view of your country and the people that are there, and even people around you are going to start picking up on that and start showing, because that's what we need to see. We need to stop seeing what the media shows us, because it's all a bunch of bull. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to say it out loud. Fuck the mass media. Fuck.
Yeah.
We have lots of it here. I come back home and the news is all out loud, at the living room, and I like close my door into the room. That's just this bullshit. It really is like fear, terrorism, hate. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna destroy you. Poverty. It's really like that, and just like, whoa, guys, it's not the reality. Some amazing stuff happened today, and they don't talk about it in the news.
Of course. I actually said this in a paradigm shift, it was just a little talk that me and Skull and a few other people had online the other night.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, I'm back in this. So.
Yeah, you sound better now.
Woo! Yeah, that's because I'm actually calling in off my phone. So good old backup plan, contingency.
There we go.
Okay. Continue the conversation.
But yeah, the coverage of crime, the crime rates all over the world have been dropping a lot, and especially in America, they've been dropping ridiculously. But the coverage of crime has risen like over 400 to 600%, and it's like the better things get, the worse they look on our media and on our television.
The more someone else has to counteract it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually, just since you said that was actually, it just refreshed my memory, because that was something that I forgot to mention on the last show as well. Like this idea, and someone just posted it in the live chat as well, this idea that New York had their first violence, like they went an entire day without a violent crime reported, and that was like on the last full moon.
Yeah.
And like that in itself, if I were like looking at this from an overhead perspective and taking into this concept of like parallel realities and saying, all right, based on our own personal vibration and based on the vibration of the earth, there's like one way or another way that we can go. And if we were like failing at our job, so to speak, then I think that would have been evident by the fact that like that date, which was November 28th, that full moon, would have been just another violent day in New York City. But the fact that that was like a full moon and there was no violent crimes, like, to me, like, that's like some sort of indication that says like there's still hope. Like,
exactly.
if there's something going on here. Like, I mean, everybody knows full moons are like the day when there's the most violent crime reported, and it's not like all of like the criminals called each other up or like made an event on Facebook and were like, all right guys, like no crime for the full moon. Like it was something internal, right? Like it was something like within everyone, and it was like a collective consciousness thing, right? So I think that in itself is like a huge thing to celebrate, and then to sort of like take that further with us to say that like, all right, let's do it. Like let's keep moving forward. Like let's go an entire month with no violent crime, right? If we can go one day, why can't we go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? And you know, that's like a utopian society at that point when like crime is pretty much like a thing of the past. So
I love the way you put that when you said, I see it from an overhead perspective. And I thought it, because it goes with this inside thing I used to talk about, how like imagine if you were God and you were looking down at your creation, and after a long period of time they all stopped moving around and creating stuff and just started sitting still and staring at walls. You know, if you were looking at an ant farm and all the ants just stopped moving and just started staring at the wall and just flashing walls, like you'd think that something was wrong and you'd shake them all out and get rid of them. You know, but I mean, like, if we're coming to a point in time, whether this is true or not, that there's going to be some sort of test, I think we're starting to pass. You know, it seems like people waking up and actually doing what Source would have wanted us to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But then at the same time, I was just going to say, at the same time, you know, it sort of piques my curiosity, because who's to say that there's not like alternate versions of ourselves experiencing that reality where things didn't quite go in this direction, right? I mean, it's not like totally like one way or the other. Like maybe in some unquantified existence or in a very quantified existence, there are other people who are experiencing their experience right now, and the world is like in a way crappier place than we are experiencing it. Like that.
And what if shifting consciousness means shifting out of realities?
Yeah, so the people who are listening to this radio show, like, I mean, you know, maybe this is a crazy way to think about it, but if you're listening to this radio show and you've heard us just talk about that story, you have done something within your own life to align yourself with this reality. You know, like maybe that's how it works. Like maybe we won't really know for sure, like until we sort of like get up to that like higher perspective sort of thing. But sorry, Alon, you were going to say something?
I'm just saying maybe you're right. You know, another dimension. You know, something that is really near us. Maybe our other version of ourselves is getting a better or a crappier world right now.
Yeah.
I just don't want to rule out any options that can happen. You know, we're in a good vibration right now, but it can go out tomorrow. You know, we don't know what people upstairs want to do. You know, tomorrow they can open a war. You know, and God forbid, but what I'm saying is, no matter what happens, you know, keep the light.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something that I'm talking about a lot with my friends. You know, no matter what happens, you know, aliens gonna land, you know, nuke bombs gonna, you know, throw out everywhere. I'm just saying, keep the light. Be calm. You know that this is an illusion. You know, third reality. Don't be afraid on your life. You know that if you are getting it, and if you are synchronized with Mother Earth, and if you're synchronized with your higher self, nothing will happen to you. You know, you can be sure. You can just have that certainty inside of you that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And keep the light, and don't fear. You know, even if you see shit, bad shit, keep sane, keep inside. Know that everything will be all right, and be that light beacon to everyone.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that's
not
exactly
to say,
the story.
Yeah, and not to say that, you know, like just because we know that the light's there, it doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Like if anything, that just means that when the bad things, quote unquote bad things, when they do happen, that just means that like our job becomes that much more important, because there are going to be those people who are going to be freaking out, and that's an idea that's sort of like come up in the past, is that like who's to say there might not be some sort of event that happens on the 21st where like it's going to really polarize people, so to speak. So I mean, you know, we're going to be experiencing it, and we're going to see it and be like, guys, like it's okay, like this is part of the plan, this is unfolding, like don't give in to the fear. And then, you know, you get the other people who are freaking out about it. Because I mean, one thing that actually came up, I almost brought it up, or I alluded to it last radio show, and it had been mentioned in the past, but it's this idea of, you know, like some sort of like mass UFO sighting taking place. And the fact is, like, this has already like happened in some degree, presuming that the video is real. And I just posted a link to it in the live chat right now. But there was a video that came up, regardless of when exactly it went up sometime in November, but the YouTube date, like, it is not consistent with it. And Vaughn's seen this video too, and this is just something that, I mean, I'm personally interested in, because in terms of like patterns and recognizing patterns, like this is something that I see as being within the realms of possibility. It's this idea that there's going to be like some sort of event where there's going to be like a bunch of lights that appear in the sky, and whether or not they're like actual UFOs or going to be like holographic projection won't be clear at the time. So it's going to be like a matter of people seeing all these lights in the sky, and they're going to be confused by it. You know, they're going to want an answer, but the answer isn't going to be provided. And then when that's the case, they're going to start like just being really, really freaked out about it. And I think that's something that, you know, if you were some sort of you know, black government sort of person, like that could be a card you could play to move people forward towards this vibration of fear and confusion. And if that's the case, again, like kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the show, what I wanted to actually do in the show is almost talk about hypothetical ideas that may happen. In the sense that, you know, there's a lot of things that could happen. So here's just one idea. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It seems to me that this is an idea that in some way or another will happen, because it's already happened on minor scales. And who's to say it can't happen on a bigger scale? And I'm actually just reading the live chat right now, and apparently the video that I posted, that I linked to in the live chat, has actually been taken down. Whether it might have been removed by the user or by someone else. So I mean, I think if that's the case, I'll see if I can find an alternative link. I did actually download it from YouTube ahead of time, because I anticipated the fact that it was going to be taken down, because it was the first time I had actually seen footage quite like that. Like it just to explain the footage, since people won't be able to watch it quite in the same way. I don't know exactly where it was. Yeah, I'm sure it's out there. But basically what it was some guy, and he was like out in the middle of a street, and it was kind of in this mountain range area of houses, and like a suburban area, and there were multiple lights off over like top of the mountains and off like in the distance, and there was a bunch of people like within the neighborhood who were standing out in the street, and you could like hear kids, you could hear like older people, you know, and the kids were just like, oh, there's another one, oh, it's blinking, what's it doing, you know, and no one's really like freaking out, but at the same time they're just like, what the heck is going on, right? So I mean, there's so many theoretical possibilities that could happen, and that's just one of them. And you know, like I've sort of joked about this idea in the past, but I mean, if it gets to a point where there's some sort of crazy event where like a UFO like comes down and tells people to get on the ship, my first reaction to people, and I would just tell them this, is don't get on the first ship. Wait till the other ships come, because the first ship might not be like the legit ship. And again, like this is just like hypothetical like conversation, and it's not even really to be taken seriously. But I mean, there's probably going to be some deception that's going to be taking place, and we have to be able to prepare ourselves to be able to recognize the bullshit. I think it's part of our job to be able to say like, hey, this is something that I saw coming, and I'm going to do my best to sort of decipher it, opposed to just being like, holy crap, this is exactly what it looks like, sort of thing. So like I guess that's something. Now, first of all, I'd like to be able to bring other people onto the air, but Alon, I wouldn't mind keeping you on. If anything, we can actually bring on multiple people onto the air shortly. But Alon, just a quick question before we do that. Have there been many UFO sightings in Israel?
It's a good question, Skull. Actually, I've seen in YouTube some people posting about it, and personal friends of mine talking about seeing actually a UFO which landed near of a military base. Once my friend told me, and I saw a very, very famous
the dome rock. I think I know.
Yeah.
Yes, because I just thought about that. I'm posting that.
If you find it on YouTube,
yeah,
please.
I'm posting it already.
Posting on exactly.
That was from last 2 years.
Everyone listening, please look at this video. This is a video which you can see like a white dot coming down from the mothership into center of Jerusalem, the center of the religious centers of Jerusalem. Just looks like they're flashed, like taking a photo or something weird, and this has been considered a very credited video because it has two
multiple angles.
Yeah, multiple angles.
3 or 4 angles at least. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, me and my friend, we were. I think it's about 2-3 weeks. We just was in the north of Israel, and we looked up in the sky. It was an amazing weekend. Everything was synchronized. And we looked up in the sky and we saw that dot, but that dot was in the color of a street light. Okay, it wasn't in the color of like green or red like in an aircraft, a military aircraft. It was just like brown light, which was like moving very slowly. And I said to my friend, dude, that's not a helicopter or a plane. I know how it looks,
Yeah.
And as we went down the road, the dot came faster and faster and faster, and was crazy up in speed, and we couldn't catch it. So I said to my friend, dude, that's certainly a UFO.
Yeah, for sure.
And it happens over here, yeah.
Yeah, like that the UFO over top of the Dome Rock Temple in Jerusalem, like I remember when I saw that, because at the time, going back to this idea of maybe, there's this idea of some UFO craft being physical, and then some of these lights that we recognize up in the sky as being like light body vehicles, like Merkabas, so to speak.
Yeah.
Something that's not necessarily physical craft, but it's more of like an entity that's actually like levitating. So as crazy as that sounds, but that's it might. For some people, that might be outside their paradigm, but for me, like it's within the realms of infinite possibilities, I guess you could say. But like that's something that UFOs are real in some way or another.
No doubt.
And I can say that I've had a direct experience myself, and I've talked about this in a past episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. But the one I saw, more than likely, was possibly a government UFO craft, because it was like a three light triangle, and it like decloaked right over top of me, and like it was a very visceral experience. And
shit.
I talked about this in the past, but it was like a stormy night, and I was like with my girlfriend at the time, and it literally like decloaked like right over top of us, and we both like watched it fly away, and it was like a 3-light triangle. And the trippy part about it was that the bottom light, when it decloaked, like it looked like it was like glitching out. Like it wasn't just blinking, it was like a visual distortion within the matrix. Like it looked like a video game glitch is one of the best ways I can describe it. And that was just something that stuck with me. So up until that point, UFOs weren't in my reality, but now that I've seen one for myself, I can come onto this radio show with confidence and say, look guys, they're real. Like they are in our reality. As to like them being one thing or another, that's up for debate, because obviously there's a lot of things that they could be, whether it be physical craft or whether it be like actual entities, maybe from like higher dimensions manifesting into this density and levitating around to try and, maybe they're just trying to get our attention. Like the whole one coming down over the rock temple, the Dome Rock Temple, like
just show off, man.
Yeah, like that might have just, I think a lot of UFO sightings are there just for us to observe them and to just be like, holy crap, something's going on here. And then I bet a lot of people who would see an experience like that may very well be in a similar place where you're at right now, in terms of like that's led them towards opening up towards new ideas and asking questions. I think that's the big thing, is that when people start to see these UFOs, it's going to start making them ask questions. So that's the most important thing that we can do. Just continue to ask questions, especially when we're seeing things like blinking lights up in the sky that may or may not be legit, so to speak. So yeah. All right.
All I want to say about it, that I saw someone who posted in my Facebook some NASA footage, official NASA footage, and which they narrate live, like this radio show. Which they put up the video from the satellite or something of the space station, and they talk about it live, and you can see that the dude that's speaking, and he's filming the space station, okay, and there are like circles going behind it, bigger and smaller, and just tons of like in the film it looks like flies. Okay, just lots of them. And you can say, how come the space is so dense? You know, there aren't as many as asteroids or something, and you can see zoom out, and you can actually see spaceships. You know, so you know you can't deny it. This is official NASA footage. You know, they're like observing us from space. You know, I've heard that they're not coming, or they didn't come in big groups yet because they don't want people to be panic about it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to fear people, so they're doing it very, very slow, bit by bit, butt by butt, and.
Butt by butt.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the Stargate in the Gulf of Aden?
I have actually. Yeah, there's like that area that's sort of like blocked off the map, and it has been for a while. Like there's something going on there. So.
There is. If you heard of the Stargate in China.
Stargates everywhere. There's Stargates in the sun, man. So and in volcanoes and down in Hawaii. So.
And apparently in the North Pole.
Yeah, in the North Pole. So yeah, towards like 5D Earth or something. So okay, guys, I think there's actually I think this is one of our most popular shows, which is wonderful to hear because obviously like this sort of resonates, like this reflects that people are interested in these sort of conversations. So just a quick shout out to everybody who actually is tuned in live, and we actually do have quite a few people who are waiting to get on air to us. So I would like to be able to bring them on within the next minute.
All right.
But before we do that, I'm just going to plant the seed in terms of a couple ideas that I had about hypothetical things, and maybe the callers would like to sort of bounce off this. And Ilana, we can keep you on the air. I don't have a problem with that. Since you've actually been, it's been quite a pleasure having you on so far, and I really do appreciate everything that you've been talking about and doing on your side of the world. So I think it's pretty cool to sort of get like a collective council on the air from all over the world on tonight's show. That would be a cool thing. So, but what I was going to say, okay, in terms of stuff that may happen, whether it be on December 21st or whatever, okay, one idea. Maybe there's some sort of quarantine that's happening. Maybe Earth is within some sort of quarantine, and maybe there's a date where the quarantine ends. And like you said, maybe there's UFOs, and they're not necessarily here to scare us. If there are UFOs that are scaring us, those are probably the fake ones. Those are probably the government ones. So maybe there's going to be an end of the quarantine date where more like star brothers and sisters, if you want to call them that, are going to start interacting with us. And maybe it's going to be a slow process, and maybe it's going to be like one of those things where people are going to sort of like get interacted with them on an individual level. Like maybe that will happen. Maybe that will happen to me at some point. Like I'm going to get in contact with aliens, and they're going to pick me up, and then I'm just going to be like, oh, hey guys, what's up? And there's like, oh, Brendan, how's it going, man? Like, good job so far. Here's information I would have to share with you. Go back to your community, tell them that everything's okay, and then continue to move forward. They're not going to like abduct me and keep me. They're just going to sort of like debrief me or something, and then give me like more of a motive to do like even crazier work. So, okay, that's one idea. The other idea, kind of what you were saying, we're moving into a new part of the galaxy, so to speak. If that's the case, maybe there's some sort of like galactic cloud that we're going to move through. And I think a lot of people are sort of talking about this. There's some sort of like area of the galaxy that we're moving into. And if that's the case, then I think there are going to be different aspects to that are innate within our abilities already that are going to start unlocking, are going to start open up, so to speak. So one of the ideas that I had is that if something's going to happen within this paradigm shift, like 21st or whatever, for me to be able to tell if something's happened to me, I'm going to be able to, what I'm going to be looking for within my own being is for my visual perception to be different. Like I've talked about in the past, so I can already sort of see energy. Like I can look up in the sky and I can like see stuff moving around and everything. If something's going to happen, I think I'm going to notice it through my vision. And maybe other people will notice it through other parts, like, there's different types of clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience. Like those abilities might become more acute, more like attuned. So that's just something to sort of keep in mind in terms of what happened. Another idea, and then we'll bring our next caller on. Another idea that I have, if this is the case, maybe there's something that we're passing through in the galactic environment that will cause or trigger a momentary, quote-unquote, global DMT trip, so to speak, meaning that everybody on the Earth, or in some degree or another, will go through an experience that will be very similar to a DMT trip. And what I mean by that is that their third eye would be opening, their pineal gland would be opening, there would be this release of DMT, and for those unfamiliar, like the pineal gland has been referred to as like the seat of the soul because it does open us up to like these higher dimensional realities. And if you've had an experience for yourself, which we do every night when we dream, because that's kind of what happens, is like our consciousness travels outside of our body through the stargate within our mind, which is like the pineal gland. If this is the case, maybe there's going to be an event where people will go through a crazy psychedelic hyperdimensional experience, and it will be very dreamlike, very etheric, very blissful. They're going to go through it, and it will be incredibly life-changing. It will confirm to them that we are more than our physical bodies and that these higher dimensions do exist. And then they're going to come back from it, and they're going to come back from it, and they're going to find themselves like back in this physical reality. And some people are going to come back with a knowing. Some people are going to say, holy crap, that just happened. I'm going to, call up Vaughn. Vaughn, did that just happen to you too? And you'll be like, yeah, that just happened to me too, man. And then there's going to be other people, and they're going to go through the experience, but they're going to come out of it, and it's going to be as if waking up from a dream that they don't remember. And they're just going to be like, whoa, what was that? I don't know. That was really weird. And, the news is going to talk about it, and the news is going to probably be, and I think it's going to polarize people. It's going to sort of create this division where some people are going to know, they're going to have that experience, and they're going to have that knowing, and it's going to really help move reality forward like full force. Like at this point, I know a lot of people having this like discussion right now. A lot of it is like sort of, they haven't had that hyperdimensional experience firsthand. Well, I mean, they have it every night when they dream, but they don't have that memory of it. There may be something that will happen that will give them that memory, that will give them that validation, and then if that's the case, it will also give them the motivation to say, holy crap, this reality is incredibly spiritual and profound, and we actually are beings of infinite light. Let's do something about it. Like, let's continue to like wake more people up. So again, that's just an idea that I had. But I'd like to, I know you guys probably like have some thoughts on that, but let's just sort of leave it there, and let's bring on some more callers, and also let's sort of set a time to do a group meditation on the air, say at about 12:30, and so everybody just sort of listening in the live chat, just keep that in mind. We'll do our group meditation at about 12:30. So, first person who I'm going to bring on the air, and we may not get to everybody today, but we'll see how many people we can get to. There's actually about like 6 people who are in the queue right now waiting to get on air. So if we don't get to you today, callers who are on the queue, I do apologize, but please continue the conversation through the Facebook page or call in next week, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to bring on Colby, who's been waiting on the line. And Colby, we're going to go from there. So if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on now.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Is it choppy for you? Say something again. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay now. Cool. All right, so Colby, is that the name that you want to go by? And if so, where are you calling from?
Yeah, that's my name. That's what I go by. I'm calling from Tallahassee, Florida.
Cool. All right, and what would you like to bring to the show?
We just started Paradigm Shift Tallahassee over here. Big shout out to that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll post a link for that in the page, actually.
Okay, cool. Last night we were at First Friday, which is kind of like a community thing. Very good reception to the group. Like, many people were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we found you. Like, I've been looking for a group like this, it was like that kind of thing. Like, they didn't think Tallahassee would have something to this caliber. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, we just started a group that's like just like this, we should join forces. So it was a very cool experience. Very cool.
Cool, man, cool. And what are your thoughts on some of the conversations that we've been having here tonight?
I definitely am looking forward to finding out what's happening. You said something about kind of being able to see energy. Mm-hmm. I've been having that experience now for probably about 6 months. Just like looking up in the sky and seeing like little kind of balls of light, if you will.
Yeah. There's the term that I have for those, and anybody who's listening kind of knows what we're talking about. Like, if you look up in the clear blue sky during the day, and you can sort of like see them moving around. Like, a term that I have for those is globulon. So that's just kind of a term that anybody else can use.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Doctors will tell you that it's like a red blood cell moving through your eye or something. But
yeah. And maybe it just is, man. Like, I mean, yeah. it's
but
hard.
I was seeing it too.
It's been getting more intense and more frequent and moving in like a certain pattern, kind of like a line to the Matrix, maybe.
Yeah. It's like seeing the code of the Matrix is one idea that I sort of had. Yeah.
Or a rift where like the third and the fourth dimension kind of become tangential momentarily. It's kind of what I think.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. So, well, like what else? Is there anything in particular that you'd like really like to sort of like share with the people listening and stuff? I mean, I think that's awesome that you're able to update us on how it's going over in Paradigm Shift, Tallahassee, Florida. Like that's really cool, man. Because I think that in itself is like good news. The fact that people are responding to communities like these coming up, because I think that's what you'll get. Like if people listening to this show are inspired to create your own community, you'll probably find that. You'll probably find that there are going to be people who are going to be like, holy crap, thank you so much for starting this. This is exactly what I've been looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, man. Anything else? Maybe any sort of like theories or you know, anything that you'd like to sort of add in terms of like the conversation for tonight's show?
Sure. Actually, I was listening to a past episode about schizophrenia, and I kind of wanted to talk about, like, or just kind of bring this maybe later into the discussion of, like, physical ailments that would either hinder you or have some effect maybe on your spiritual perceptions, right? For me personally, I have scoliosis, and my family kind of does. It kind of runs in our family. And about a year ago now, I actually started thinking, you know, what if I could, like, correct my scoliosis, right? Because I looked into the surgery for it, and the surgery is 2 metal rods running up your back, and it's installed for, like, 6 months to a year or something, and it's really painful, not worth it, all of that. So I was like, you know what? I know physics. I'm an engineer, so I know physics. I know forces and all of that stuff. Why not just, like, try to match the forces, like, use forces on my back that would straighten it, right? And so it's really weird because over the last year, I've actually had some pretty good results with that. I've actually gained about 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
Kind of weird. But I can feel that my body, like my physical, like, bone structure shifts when I do this, like, over a long period of time, right? And I've noticed that when I, like, maybe align some vertebra in my back that wasn't aligned there before, I get this intense energy shot, like, all the way up to the top of my head, like, into my brain. And then after, I'm just, like, more perceptive to what's around me. And it's almost as if, like, I'm unblocking my chakras. So, and I've noticed, looking around with a lot of people, that most people do have some form of scoliosis. Scoliosis is just when your back's not straight. Some people do have that energy blockage, and that actually can correspond to certain ailments, certain diseases, like over a lifetime, right? So what I would recommend to everybody is maybe not go to a chiropractor, but start doing some yoga, start doing, like, spinal alignment stuff, because I've seen a huge benefit for it to me. I mean, it's improved my posture, it's improved my, like, self-esteem even. So, I think that's a good tip.
Man, like, that's really cool. Like, I'm really happy to hear about, like, that's, you know, the fact that you're being able to heal yourself, because the body, you know, we hear this all the time, the body is a miracle. The body has the ability to heal itself, and especially something, sorry, I'm just getting an echo. Does anybody know who's echoing right now?
Good to me, actually.
Yeah, Cole, do you have like your speakers on or something?
Well, yeah, I'm talking through my computer.
Do you have your headphones on?
Let me just do myself right real quick, and I'll get my headphones.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to, find headphones, but I'm just answering your question as I mute your mic, so I'll bring you on in a second. But what I was just going to say, you know, for anybody listening to this, keep in mind that, like, the spine is, like, the central nervous system of the body. Like, a healthy spine equals a healthy body. So, I mean, to be able to keep that in mind, even something as simple as posture. So if you're listening to this show right now and you're slouching, just take a second. Like, seriously, everybody, even if you're not slouching, just take a second right now to just, like, straighten yourself up, to just sort of imagine that somebody's like grabbing a piece of string attached to the top of your head, and they're just like pulling that, and it's just straightening up your spine. And then just use this practice every single time that you find yourself slouching, or just do it immediately when you're sitting down. I mean, I sit in front of the computer a lot, so I mean, to be able to just remind myself of that is going to have like a huge effect on my health and my well-being, because I mean, slouching is just going to, it's a nasty habit, so to speak. So, okay, Colby, I don't know if you found headphones. I'm just going to bring you back on. So.
Yeah, I got my headphones.
Okay, cool. That actually, that was the source of the problem. So, yeah.
I figured it might be.
Cool, man. Cool. All right. Now, Colby, not to rush things along here, but I'd like to bring on some more callers. Is there anything else that you just sort of like to share before we let you go?
That's kind of like what I wanted to bring to you guys. Like, I definitely want to talk more about like physical ailments or mental ailments. So I think that's a really important and relative topic. But maybe like at a further time that we can like further divulge into that subject.
Yeah.
But right now, I think that's good, guys. Just be aware of your body. Be aware of like any energy blockage, any any stiff point that you have that's caused by something, and it's definitely caused by some misalignment in your back. Like, you have no idea how interconnected your back is with every single part of your body. Like, I can be pushing on my back, off of my shoulder, and feel it in my toes. I mean, it's seriously that ridiculous.
Yeah.
So be very conscious of that, guys, in the next like 13 days.
Yeah.
Any improvement you can have on that level will help you in the shift.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely, Chris or Colby. That's a very very worthwhile reminder. So we do appreciate that. I mean, like healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit, right, guys? So there we go. Cool. All right, dude. Thanks a lot. And post your YouTube or your Facebook in the live stream if people want to add you, and then also we'll post the Paradigm Shift Tallahassee, Florida, for anybody who's in that area who might want to be able to connect with you, and then you guys can continue the conversation further. So, again, dude, thanks a lot for calling in. Much appreciated, and much love. Okay. Namaste. Cheers. Cool. All right, guys, so we're just going to keep moving along here, and the next person who I'd like to bring onto the air, I actually did like a bit of a slip there, just accidentally, is a man by the name of Christopher Love, who is actually part of the website. He's got theearthtribe.com, and I believe this is the same. I think this is the same Christopher who was like featured on the episode 21 of the toroidal, the toroidal flow, which was the spirit science episode that came out not too long ago. So sorry, it's the hearttribe.com is the website, and he's actually in the live chat right now, so he can probably post you guys into that. So we're going to bring Chris onto the air, and I'm sure he's got a few things to share in terms of everything that's happening right now in the world. So Chris, if you're ready, we're going to bring you on the air. Hello, Christopher, you can hear us?
Yes.
Cool. Welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio, man. I very much appreciate you making yourself available to join us here for this very important conversation that we're having. So.
Yeah, it was a last moment little thing. Do I sound funny?
It sounds okay. It sounds fine. So we're good. So cool.
Okay.
And just for the people listening, where exactly are you located? Where are you calling from?
Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona, Arizona. Cool. And what would you like to bring to the show?
Well, I just got a feeling that I should check out your radio show, and if you had anything that you wanted me to talk about, I'm open to talking about anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, do you have a particular message that you would like to share in terms of like the December 21st date that's around the corner? I mean, I've seen some of the videos that you've put up there, and I think your message is a very positive one, actually. So maybe if you just want to reiterate some of that.
Well, basically, no matter what the agenda is on planet Earth, and no matter what's going to happen, we obviously need to embody divine love, and that's not always going to be something that people are going to understand what that means right off the bat, but it's really just being in divine tantric union with that which you are experiencing. And from personal experience, everyone has really experienced how love transforms that reality that we perceive. And when we can perceive our reality as this connected divine nectar, there's nothing that can happen to us. Our spirit is always eternal, but you realize that when you are in that state, when you can embody this divine connection as you're looking at the world, as you're moving around the world, as you're doing your mission, having that state of grounded awareness. That real grounding comes from your heart. And walking around the world like this, there's nothing else than to be Christ consciousness. There's nothing else to be other than enlightened, because that is the reality of our true self.
Mm-hmm. What would be, if you could provide our listeners, like what would be some practical tips, I guess you could say, for them to become more aligned with their heart center?
Well, I'm releasing a video, almost the next one coming up. It's basically a short documentary called Heart Attunement, and basically in there we have 5 different ways that you can bring yourself into your heart. Number 1 is eye gazing. Eye gazing is an amazing way to basically get into the moment and really see what's holding you back from being present with your spirit. Because when you're looking at the eyes of God in front of you, when you're looking at the eyes of the source of our reality, you literally go through all your ego bull, like straight up. You'll vomit everything coming out of your ego will come in front of you and stop you from being present. So what you can do is you can slash it at the root and get it out of your way so you can continue to be present. And also, when you are good at being present, then you can emanate that love, and the person who's in front of you, who's also in that state, you can become kindred together. So the second method is mantra, and the power of words is very deep, and it allows you to really understand how every syllable of our language, every sound that we make has a certain vibration, a certain spiritual energetic charge. And when we can embody our full knowing and belief in our energy into what we're saying, we can actually alchemically shift the reality that we perceive, even from starting from that point. Step 3 is gratitude and appreciation. When you live in a state of gratitude and appreciation, that is your heart being fully activated into perceiving your connection with that which is being perceived. And that allows for you to give love to it in that moment and really allow your state of being to really be fully imbued in love with that which is the object. Step 4 is the breath. When you allow yourself to really breathe and get into a state of interconnectedness, you can actually get to such high states of awareness that enlightenment is all that you know. Because breathing is something that happens so innately simple, just like a heartbeat, that we do it our entire life until we die. So if we start there and we actually view love and consciousness into breathing, you become such a super conscious being so quickly that your heart has to be activated. Step 5 is a radical shift in perception. Any of us has the ability to do this, but through understanding all 4 previous steps, you can sit there and you can be fully present with everything that's holding you back and imbue full knowledge, full love into the moment, like so much so that all blockages that are holding you back, all past life karmas, everything that you wish that you could get rid of so that you could be that Christ within, you take that radical shift of consciousness. It has to be one of the most high energetic moments of your life. Mm-hmm. And preferably you should do it when you're under the influence of a shamanic substance, preferably, because that is an easier moment for you to cultivate that energy to put into that moment. But if you just do meditation and you're really powerfully intent on making that shift, you can do it. So those are the 5 ways I had for you.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I think that's really awesome that you're able to share that with us, and I'm sure the people listening to this, let me know when that video goes up, and we'll be able to include it into the show notes as well, so people can hear that message again. Because I agree. I think when we can get to that moment on an individual basis where we can look into the eyes of another person and not only see them, but to be able to see ourselves and to be able to see like the all that is within that moment, like I think that is such a key thing. Like that's you know, and then you take that and you just like move forward with it. So I mean, that's what.
Can I share a personal experience for eye gazing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You talked about when we do eye gazing, we see like all the shit coming out. You know what I'm saying? It was a spontaneous eye gazing. I was with some friends visiting a friend which talks a lot about Maya and she's a shaman actually. She's actually a shaman. She practices shamanism, more like in the Mayan way. And we came to visit her on a Friday, and we just sat at her house, playing music and talking and smoking and all that shit. And so we were playing music. Her friend was playing music, and just one moment we catched each other's eyes and spontaneously stared at each other, like maybe like for 10 to 15 minutes. Like it was intense, and it was spontaneous. And I've started, thoughts are coming up like maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe it's embarrassing. Like what is she thinking? All the ego thoughts coming up instead of let the soul just do what she wants with the body. You know what I'm saying? What you really want to do. And we stared at each other, and like I'm seeing my ego as I do this.
Yeah.
I'm watching like the false, the lie, and dealing with it live, and it was great. And I started to see her third eye actually. As I was looking into her eyes, I started to see her light body and her third eye like popping out, like like sort of like Neo watches the Matrix. So I saw like little dots, like when we look in the sky, like Brendan, what you talked about when we look in the sky. So the same way, like all through her body, like and it was an amazing experience. This is the eye gazing experience. And just wanted to say about the things you've talked. I really resonate with everything you said about the breath and being present, and it happens to me more and more often lately. I just tap into the now more often. Just remind like how much time I wasn't in the now. You know what I'm saying? Like wait, I wasn't in the now for so long. Wait, I gotta be in the now right now. And like catching myself dreaming, hallucinating or something, and like okay, tap into the now, and being in the Christ consciousness. I've had today an experience which I really want to share, if it's okay.
If you can, just real quick, because then we're going to go into our meditations shortly after.
All right, yeah. I'm watching. It's 7:30 in Israel. So I'm just saying, I was tapping into myself, and I was like in a situation where I was creating. You said like words that have meaning. So I was saying things, and things started to. I was sensing them like happening inside reality, saying, I am strong, I am capable, I can do this, and I have abundance, and things just started to happen. I was feeling like I'm creating the reality I want in this moment, and it was great.
Yeah, for sure, man. And guys, I probably sound a little bit different because I actually just had to switch to my cell phone because that one was running out of batteries. But hey, we just adapt and overcome, right? So you guys can still hear me, okay?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah? Okay, cool. But yeah, like, okay, just now, Chris, would you be comfortable leading us into our meditation without, can we get into the meditation within even just like a couple minutes? Is that something that you're comfortable with doing?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. The only reason why I said earlier in the message that I like to get into it in a special way is because not everybody is always right hop skip to the jump aware of like meditating through the heart, which is just allowing yourself to get into it. So I can do that.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So we'll do that, and I actually I have some heart chakra singing bowl audio that we'll use along with that, which is about like a 5-minute piece. But just in terms of meditation, guys, like a quick thing to keep in mind is that with meditation, it's kind of about being able to align yourself with like that moment, that frequency within yourself. And the more that you do meditate, you're going to be able to find that you're going to be able to return to that space more efficiently. So kind of what we were saying, for people who might not be meditating for a while, it might take them longer to slowly walk their way into it, so to speak. And not to say that you shouldn't take your time when you're doing it, but as you meditate more and more, and this is one of the benefits of the practice, is that you'll find that you'll be able to get to that state faster, and then from there to go even deeper and to like start reaching those like further parts like within your own psyche, within yourself. So just something to keep in mind. And again, I know some people might not be familiar with eye gazing itself. Eye gazing is exactly what it sounds like. It's getting into a meditative state where you're looking at another person and you're trying not to blink, and you're pretty much just doing that. You're connecting your eyes with their eyes, and in the process it's creating like this beam of energy that's kind of like being connected by the pupils. So, I mean, in the process of doing that, it's not literally just looking at the person. It's like this transmission of energy, of information between one person or another. So if you are eye-gazing, don't be surprised if you start to see some things that may appear to be unusual to you. So you're going to start to see some, like, face morphing, so to speak. You're going to start to see some, like, sort of blurring and sort of almost hallucinogenic sort of distortion. But that's part of the experience, and that's actually part of the reason to embrace it, because it is going to sort of open you up to that those other altered states of perception, I guess you can say. So again, eye gazing is one of the really is such a a lot of people who have probably been into a lot of this stuff might not have done eye gazing yet. So that's just something that obviously listening here today, if you've heard us talking about it here today, then we would recommend that you try it when you get a chance. So find a friend who you're comfortable with, get into that comfortable space, and just do that. Start breathing together, and then just sort of sit there and try not to blink and let it happen. So really that simple. And all right, now we're going to move into our meditation, guys. So before I hand it over to Chris, I would just tell everyone to start to get yourself comfortable however you need to. So just, either cross your legs or uncross your legs, find that comfortable spot in your chair, and we'll go from there. So, Chris, I'm going to leave it to you. And Alon and I think Vaughn, who is not really, he's already muted anyways. Oh, you are there.
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, we'll mute you guys, and then... So Vaughn, I'm muting you, and Alon, I'm muting you, and Alon, I'll just I'm going to let you go, Alon, and I'll just say goodbye now, because I think we got some other stuff happening on.
All right.
The meditation.
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Thank you for having me on the show, and everyone, guys, in the chat listening and will listen to this. And just want to say I really resonate with everything that happened today, and it was great to be up on the show, and really thank you. I really love you all, and really sending love from Israel to everyone. So shalom, everyone.
Absolutely, man. Much appreciated. And post your Facebook into the live chat, and we'll include it into the show notes as well. So anybody, even if you're not in Israel, please feel free to contact and connect with you. That's a big part of the show, is being able to connect with one another. Going back to the first thing that I said, this is about strengthening the grid. So do that, get connected, and continue to move forward from there. So thanks again, man. Really do appreciate it.
Much love, man. Much love.
All right. Namaste. Cheers. Cool. All right. So, Chris, I'm gonna leave you with the time that we got now, and let me know, and I'll cue up the Heart Chakra singing bowl music, and then we'll come back from that, and that's about like 5 minutes, and so we'll be back on the air within like 7 or 8 minutes from now. So, okay. So, Chris, are you okay with that? I'm gonna leave you to walk people through it, on lead them into it. You're good with that?
Okay, definitely. Are you gonna put on the music right now?
No, the music, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just sort of walk us into it verbally, and then let me know when you want me to cue the music, and then the music will be like our silence, and then we'll sort of we'll get to that space, and then we'll stay in that space for the audio. So. Oh,
okay, cool.
If that works for you, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done it this way, but I'll just go with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll just go with it. Cool, man. Okay, so I'm gonna mute myself, and I'm gonna still be able to hear you, but at this point, just let me know when you want me to cue the music. Okay?
All right.
Okay. All right. It's all you. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Thank you. everyone allow yourselves to get into a space of ease. Calm down. Just breathe in and out. And in that moment of breathing in and out, feel that breath, feel that air. And I want you to follow it into your chest. Allow it to gently touch all of the senses, even the one that allows it to connect it to your third eye. Don't worry, just feel everything. Feel the very center of your chest. Feel this energy that seems to be present there. Breathing in and out. And if you want to allow anything that you feel that you want to gain, that you want to allow into your life at this moment, anything that you feel that you want to let go, allow that to become a part of this flow, a part of this process. Feel yourself flowing into the ease of this breathing. Connect your index finger to your thumb and allow for the connection of those two meridians to be closed-looped to allow you to ground your energy. Just breathing in and out. Allow yourself to feel your heart center. And repeat this process. allow yourself to open your eyes and take a very deep breath. Allow your exhale to reverberate your chest plate. Feels good to do that. So allow yourself to come back into your body. And that is peace.
There we go. All right, Chris, thanks a lot, and thank you again to everyone who took part in that. Guys, it's really amazing when we're able to do a meditation using the technology that we have, and especially for those who are going to be able to do the meditation again when they're listening to the show in the future, because there's still that energy that we created within that moment that is going to be connected to that information, and even people meditating on it in the future are still going to be able to resonate with it. So thank you very much, Chris, for doing that, leading us through it. Much appreciated. Cool, guys. All right, now there is about 10 minutes left in the show, and obviously time is of the essence. So, Chris, would you like to stay on for the last 10 minutes? I mean, there's a person who I'm going to bring onto the air who I think you guys may be able to bounce some ideas back and forth. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool. And Vaughn, I'll bring you on the air as well. So, Vaughn, I'm bringing you back on.
Hello.
Vaughn, you're with us?
Yeah.
Hey, you're with us. Cool. All right, guys. So, again, there's 10 minutes left in the show, and I'll just say this now. Thank you for everyone who's been tuning in, and feel free to share the show once it's already aired. You can listen to it almost immediately after, again, through this Blog Talk link, but the YouTube version will go up within the next 24 hours. And if you have not already, go to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and feel free to like us there. We have episodes every Saturday live at 11 p.m. EST. And, again, if you didn't make it onto the air this week, please feel free to continue to add it onto the conversation through the Facebook page and call in next week, because we do want to be able to get to everyone. This is a show for everyone, by everyone. So very cool. All right, guys, this has been quite the show so far, and I think I got perhaps one more thing that's just going to be able to top it off. I'm just going to bring him onto the air. He knows who he is, so if he is ready, here he comes. Oh, it's the thunder. It's the thunder.
It's the thunder.
Oh, no.
My brothers and sisters. Greetings to you all.
What an intro.
What an entrance, yeah. So, Nathaniel, Elijah,
it is
Mr.
thunder indeed.
Welcome to the show, man. Now, I know you weren't with us. You didn't hear the show from the beginning. We covered a lot of ground this episode. We had a lot of talk from Alon, who was in Israel, and he was talking about his free hugs that he was doing over there, and just about the fact that this awakening is really happening everywhere. I mean, outside of our North American bubble, it really is happening all over the world. So a lot of awesome stuff has come up this episode. Now, where are you at, sir? What would you like to add to the show today with about 9 minutes left?
Well, I'm going to send a real quick apology out to everybody. I just got on the line for the first time in like a week. I've been in Miami, and I just checked my Facebook, and I have like 500 messages, and I'm not going to be able to. So I haven't been responding like I diligently usually try to. So for everyone who sent me questions or remarks, I've read a few of them. Helena, especially yours. You send me messages all the time that just lift my spirits. Like I can't even believe some of the wonderful things that I received. So I haven't been able to send thanks out to a lot of you, but I give you my warmest and deepest regards. And I will get back to everyone as soon as I can. But other than that, I give a greetings to everybody. I send everyone my love. And indeed, the awakening is surely taking place worldwide. It's a very exciting thing to behold.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And let me just say real quick, so for everyone who's listening, because I know we do have a lot of new listeners, Elijah, who is on the air with us right now, also known as Nathaniel, also known as Thoth, as he refers to himself. You've heard me talk about him on the past if you've been listening, but he refers to himself as the fourth-born Thoth. And there's a lot of reasons why he does that. Now, as to whether or not he is kind of up in the air, and that's really up for you, the listener, to sort of decide what to get out of it. I mean, regardless of who he says he is, it's the information that he has to share. So, and I just because I have brought him on into the radio show in the past few times doesn't mean that he's any special than anyone else. But he did make himself available, and there is about 10 minutes left. And to really top this off, I would just like to hear what he has to say, because in the past, he'd been consistent with his message, and I resonate with it, and I know there's a lot of other people who resonate with it. So, Nathaniel, what message do you have to share with us today, so to speak?
Oh, well, thank you very much. I must, out of my own dignity's sake, say thank you. And my identity is certainly not up in the air. My identity is certain, and without the shadow of a doubt, it is up for everyone to make up their own mind as to what they believe concerning me. But it is firmly planted and has very deep roots, and the only parts of me that are up in the air are the parts that I extend myself, So I'm certainly not up in the air for debate as to who I am, although I do understand what you're saying. I just must, I gotta be me.
Your spirit.
So what I would like to share with everybody is an exciting prospect, and it's about numbers. And I'm not talking sacred geometry or mystic revelation into numbers. I'm talking about manpower. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about the fact that as far as how many people do we have in the world that quote-unquote call themselves light workers, then you're talking maybe a few, maybe in the hundreds of millions of people, which is great. That's amazing. Even if it was, 500 million, which would probably be projecting a really large number, it's growing every day, and this is very exciting. But the number that I'm talking about is in the billions. In the billions of billions, I'm talking about everybody who is alive in this day and age that currently participates in a current established global religion, whether it's Catholicism, Protestant Christianity, Islam, Mormons, Baha'is, Hindus, Jews, whatever you are. This is the beginning of what the real new age movement, this whole unity consciousness, is about to take hold. And what it is not the creation of a new world religion. It's the creation of people who are so determined and so oriented in their goals, so they're so focused that they can infiltrate the things that are already existing and change them from the inside out. What I'm asking people to do is to embody what it is they believe and change organizations from the inside out, because the whole Christian movement is not wrong. These people aren't wrong. They have wonderful faith. They have wonderful history, wonderful culture. They just need the completion of what they believe. Muslims, Jews, all these people, these world religions, they're not wrong. We're not against them. They have the opinion that we're against them because we seem to completely have a lack of respect for sacred literature, and more so look towards the doctrines and the writings of men like Bernard Perona, who calls himself Drumbelow Melchizedek, and we'll look to people like this and get our information and reject the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud, the Zohar, the Upanishads, and the things that have already been steering humanity for so long. This is why there's almost this rift. But the religions that are already established, it's the coming together of the things that already are. That is unity consciousness. It's not the creation of a new thing that everyone else can jump onto. That's more separation. So true unity consciousness is not people leaving their religions and joining some super hybrid religion. It's people like us that know the oneness and the unity of Prime Creator, and that God is light and love and it permeates through all, that we go into these bodies and we worship side by side along these wonderful people who already number in the billions, and just show them the unity that presently exists within the nature of God. And once these people see it, could you imagine if you started showing sacred geometry inside of a church of people that love God to the best that they know how, but just don't know how to do it perfectly, and you blew their minds with sacred geometry and presented this opportunity to these people? This is where we're going to break. This is where we're going to start to make massive progress, to bringing together the things that are already established. not creating some completely asinine new doctrine that other people, that billions of people that are already prescribing to a doctrine are going to have a hard time listening to. So that's what I'm really excited about, the grabbing the numbers of the people that it's going to take to make this ascension happen on a global scale, on a global consciousness scale.
That's pretty cool. I do like the concept of bringing everything into unity, and that's actually what I'm working on right now with the Tribe of the Heart. But what I think is also pretty interesting is that there are these religions in the world, and yeah, they are all very beautiful and awesome, especially the Christian religion. But the one thing that we need to do is bring the heart into the equation. You see, believe it or not, a lot of people that I know that are going to church, and this number is in the hundreds, are going to church, but they feel...
Sorry, guys, got 60 seconds. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm just...
Okay. But they feel like it's dry. But when they feel it in their heart, that's when they know that's when the faith comes to the next level. Enlightenment.
Right. Everybody needs to step it up. We all need to step it up together, including those people.
Step it up.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks.
Okay. Okay, guys, let me just get a last word in here. Everybody who's listening, feel free to continue the conversation. Vaughn, let's do a Google Hangout again. So we're going to have a Google Hangout posted into the live chat, and people who aren't actually able to join through Google will still be able to watch it through YouTube, because we'll put it live tonight, because I think some of the conversation that's going to go down tonight is actually going to be pretty important. Like, let's keep things transparent at this point so we can get the information out there. So, guys, we're about to go off air in terms of Blog Talk, but people who are still going to be able to hear us in the recording, I just want to be able to say thank you for you guys to being involved with this. And again, I'll just mention, check out more of Nathaniel's website at iprojectelijah.com. And Chris, your website is thehearttribe.com, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool, guys. All right, guys, well, we'll wrap it up there, and obviously we were kind of having to cut it like mid-sentence and stuff, but I think the message did get across, and I agree that a lot of this begins with moving into the heart, so let's just continue to do that, and it starts on Paradigm Shift Radio, and it goes far, far beyond that. So much appreciation to you guys for being a part of the show tonight. We do absolutely appreciate it, and we'll just continue the conversation from here. So Elijah and Chris, any last words that you would just like to share in terms of before we hit
to the live chat, but I wish my love to all of you.
Okay, all right. And Chris, any last message that you'd like to share?
Nope. I love you guys. See you later.
All right. It's a consensus. We love everyone. So there you go. And Vaughn, anything you want to share?
Everybody eat well and
that's great.
Respect your body.
There you go. Yeah, that's a big message, and maybe we'll get more into that for another show. So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. I'm Skull Babylon. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/SkullBabylon. And if you have not already, join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, and go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com for more links from there. So, guys, we're going to hit the outro button there. And once again, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Much love. And we will see you guys in the future. Namaste, everyone.